You must be bored if you clicked on this, but I'm glad you did. I'm going to go ahead and start my radiator swap, and the first thing I'm going to do is consult my Haynes repair manual and instructions that may or may not have come with the new radiator, which is sitting over there in that box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, open that box, get the instructions if there is any, and then consult my Haynes manual. It's pretty straightforward from what I could remember 30 years ago. You basically drain the fluid, disconnect your fans. Well, I got electric fans in here. I got to disconnect them and get them unmounted, and then have the radiator drain. And I do have to make a parts store run for a container to drain the fluid in, and of course more ice cube juice. So stick with me. I'm gonna probably just do a time-lapse photo of me working on this stuff, but I'm off to consult the manual and the instructions and then get started. There she is. There's the Haynes manual, following the steps in there for radiator removal and installation. Radiator is currently draining right now, right down there. But basically the steps were out of the Haynes manual. Disconnect the battery. I don't know why you would need that on a mechanical fan, but I'd understand it for electric. But if you disconnect the battery, take the radiator cap off, and then hit the pep cock down there to start draining the radiator, and that's where I'm at now. So I will be back at you later. Sorry, I'm really bad at filming and working at the same time. So did the first couple steps, disconnected the battery right there, undid the radiator cap, drained from the pep cup at the bottom. Once that was all done, I removed the upper radiator hose, the transmission cooling lines, the lower radiator hose. Now, as you can see, I'm removing the clamps that hold the radiator in, and I'm going to have that out momentarily. And once that's out, I'm going to go ahead and throw that one in. This is a Frostbite. It's a Frostbite. Where is it? Somewhere around here it says, oh, FB154. So I will tune back in a minute. Alrighty, well, radiator's out. There's the new one. There's the old one. Now this is supposed to be a 3-core radiator, so I'm really hoping it's gonna help. I think the problem with this radiator was it's probably 30 years, maybe older, and I'm not sure it's ever had a flush. I mean, it's pretty, I don't know, it seems kind of clean in there, but coolant came out clean, but look down in there with a light, you'd see a lot of crud. So maybe that's what the problem was. It just was never flushed. But this one's gonna go in. The teardown took me about an hour. I would guess those of you that have been doing this all your life, wrenching on these old cars, you probably have this whole job done in 45 minutes to an hour. But this is the first time I've attempted wrenching probably since the mid-90s. I've had brand new cars since then, and warranties. So the most I've done is oil changes and the occasional shock replacement. But feels good to be working on a truck again, or on a car. But let me get back at it. I'm going to get this installed tonight, and then tomorrow when I get off of work, we'll figure out all this mess, this relay wiring for the fans, these sending units. But for tonight, I'll hooked back up and then try to button up the rest of it tomorrow when I get off work. Well, let me be the first to say here in the middle of this radiator build, I got a newfound respect for all those big channels that do this kind of stuff. Starting out doing this stuff, Vice Grip Garage for one, or Finnegan's Garage, or you know, all the normal suspects. It's really hard to try to focus on doing what you need to do here and grabbing content at the same time. It's like it makes this 3 times harder to do, especially when you're trying to relearn how to do it. So anyways, I'm done with the radiator swap on this. Last night I got the old radiator out, kind of fit the new radiator in. Had to do some slight modifications here to get this radiator in securely so it didn't move around. When I got home from work today, tackling that, I'm going to switch camera view. That's the Frostbite FB154 3-core. So I had a mounting issue to where these weren't snugging up properly, but I took care of that with some heater hose parts, or heater hose that I put in there between the radiator and the clamp bracket. So that got that in there secured. But when we got to here on the transmission cooling lines, my father-in-law, who was a mechanic by trade, had hardline coming from the transmission to right about where my finger's pointing, that silver spot, which is a hose clamp. And he used high pressure hose off that hard line to a little hard line section here and one down on the lower. Instead of flaring the ends of that hard line like you should, he just doubled hose clamped them, and for the life of me, I don't know how I didn't blow those transmission lines off of this truck driving it. But so the radiator swap turned into a Harbor Freight trip to get double flaring toolkit and a tube cutter, and a trip to O'Reilly's to get some hard brake line and some new hose and fix those lines. Now, they're only Band-Aid. They're a slight step better than what my father-in-law left because I flared the ends. What they need to be is when I swap this motor out, I'm going to run all new transmission hardline all the way to the radiator when the motor's out. So this is just a Band-Aid, but a simple radiator swap that should have taken me, normal man who does this as a hobby all his life, this whole swap would have taken him 45 minutes. It's taken me about 5 hours because I got sidetracked on the transmission lines trying to make them to where I don't have to worry about them blowing out on me. So I will try to do better capturing more content of basically B-roll of me actually doing the work. But you get to a point where screw the cameras, I just want to get it done. And that's where I got to today. So, but it's done, working marvelously, I might add too. This thing, Now when it gets to 190, the fans kick on. The fans bring it down to 180, the fans kick off. I've only warmed it up here in the driveway, and I went for a 2-mile round trip, and I haven't exceeded 190 degrees yet. Now it's only 82 degrees outside right now, so that, you know, weather has a vote. So we'll see what happens when it's 112 and I'm running the AC. And then, but fans are actually cooling the motor now, and that wasn't happening with the old radiator. So thanks for bearing through these first 3 videos. If you're following along, I appreciate it. I don't expect to make a huge channel out of this. I don't expect you know, a lot of fanfare, notoriety. This is just mainly me documenting what I'm doing to my late father-in-law's truck, and then someday be passed down to my son and so on, so he can hopefully refer back to these videos and be able to take care of this truck himself. So stay tuned to the next one.